Welcome to Master Guitar Fret, and thanks for stopping by. My name is Jörg. I recently watched a video by John Mayer called The Third is Your Friend, and this inspired this call and respond lesson that I'm going to share with you today. In my description down below, you will find a tabs PDF for download as well as the backing track. For bonus resources, check out my Patreon page. There you will find a guitar profile in various speeds for you to download. Okay, let's go break down that solo lick by lick. For this lesson, we're going to work in A7 and D7. So we're going to initiate the call with an A7 and D7s. Okay, and we're going to use only two strings, and we're going to use the root. We're in the key of A and D, so we're going to use the root of the A plus the third of that third note in the A major scale. Okay, so we use those two notes to call for the response. Basically the root and the third plus the minor 7, which is down here on the D5, would make an A7 chord. It's a nice chord, you know, you can use that actually in your blues rhythm playing. It's a nice dark sounding chord, okay? And then we'll do the same again when it goes to D7. And again, if we would add the G5, that would be the D7. That's a D7 down here. But it sounds cool up here as well. Okay? Okay, lick one right here. I played. So we initiate with the A7 power chord. We'll slide with our ring finger to D7. And we pick G5 and a nice vibrato. Lick 2, we play the D7 kind of power chord, root and third. Then we slide from A8 and D9 to A9 and D10. Okay, so this A9 and D10 is actually the third and the minor 7th of the D7 chord. Same notes, but we're using with a slide. Okay, so that's lick 2. Lick 3 is a longer lick because it goes over both the A and the D. Okay, and I'll tell you when it flips to D. So we're only, for this one, we're only going to initiate with a D7 power chord here. Let's play it. First thing we do, we initiate, then we slide with our ring finger from D5 to D7, and we land on G5, and then again with our ring finger we're going to slide from G7 to G9, and we land on B8. That's the first part. Then we'll pull off from B10 to B8, and pick G9. So the next part of this lick is when the rhythm goes back to D7. Okay, and then we'll do this here. So hammer on, pull off, G7, G8, then D10 and D7. Back to B10. And a nice vibrato. What I do is I switch to my ring finger here for that vibrato because my pinky is just not strong enough. So instead of using my pinky, I use my ring finger. Okay, so you're going to have to figure out what you want to do there. Lick 4, so we're back in A7. So here's the lick. So half bend on E7, then I pull off from E7 to E5, and then I pull off from B8 to B5, and back to E5. Then we would go back to D7, and here's the lick. So I pull off from B8 to B5, I pull off from G7 to G5, and then I pull off from D7 to D5, and then back to G5. Lick 6 is actually a long one again. It goes over both A7 and D7. The A7 part is, and then here it would go back to D7, but we're not actually going to do that because we're going to finish the lick. So first thing we do is a pull off from D7 to D5, then a pull off from A7, A6 to A5, so a triple one, then a hammer on and pull off from A5 to A6, and then E8 and E5, back to D7. So lick 6 concludes basically one run through that whole progression, and lick 7 would be the start of a new progression basically, okay, because it's a two-part solo. Lick 7 is back in A7, so here's the lick. Okay, you probably recognize that because it's part of that A7 chord, right? It's the third and the minor 7 that we're using, right? But we're using it down here. Okay, so we are sliding from G5 and B7, and we're sliding down to G6 and B8. Just one fret down. And you let that ring. Gives you a little time here to relax. Then lick 8, we're back into D. Okay, so half bend on B12, then a pull off from B12 to B10, then to G11, then back to B10. So lick 9 is a long one again. It's going over A7 and D7. Okay, here play. First part of this lick would be pull off from G7 to G5, then D7, back to G5, back to D7. Next part would be a hammer on pull off, D5, D7, and then immediately slide to D4. With this note, we would be back into D7. So hammer on pull off, slide to D4, then A7, 5, and 3. So that would be lick 9. Lick 10, we're back in A7. Okay, we're going to do a double slide, and we go to G5 and B7, and we slide to G6 and B8. Then when we come out of there, we do the G6 and B5. Okay, so 2 slides. Okay, and then lick 11, we're on D. We'll do also slide, B5, E5 to B7, E7. And just use your ring finger for that. When we come out of that, it's B7 and E5. The last lick goes over A7, and that's the end of it. We're going to play the A7 down here, a little closer to where the lick actually is. Okay, and also indicating that it's the end of the solo. So we're on the 12th A string and on the 11th D string. So here's the lick. Okay, so we're going to do a pull off from E14, 13 to 12. Then a pull off from B14 to B13 and to G12. Then D12 to D14, back to G12. Then open A string. And then A9. A9, chord would be like this. But we basically eliminate the index finger so that the A string rings open. It's a nice sound. Okay, so we are on the 11th fret on the D string, and then we bar with our ring finger the G, the B, and the E string on the 12th. So on your pull-offs, okay, use your individual fingers. And as you go to that G12, bar already the D12. So you're ready to do that hammer on from 12 to 14 on the D. Open. That's a difficult lick, so even I have difficulty at times with it. I don't know how I came up with it. Okay, but you will learn it as well with much practice. All right, this concludes the whole solo. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe right here and hit the bell. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.